we just got done tuning the ZXXR 2025. Lewis is going to grab some gas. Hopefully he makes it. I don't know if he'll make it. Anyway, we just got done tuning the ZXXR 2025 ZXXR. So after the tune, everything came out pretty good on the dyno, but he went to go test drive it and it was hiccuping real bad. When I say hiccuping, it's like cutting in and out, just and it sounded funky. And I'm like, dude, something don't sound right. So, I can hear him, he's getting it. So, long story short, threw it back on the dyno for him real quickly because I wanted to make sure everything looked okay in the mapping. Now, this is a new dyno layout, it's a new dyno room, so I'm trying to get it figured out, and I want to make sure that the bikes are tuning properly. So here he is, let's see if he does a little hit or not. But anyway, he was having some hiccuping. Come to find out, it was the traction control that was still on the bike. Dude, the bike sounds healthy. Hey, we got the nod. So how was it? Dude, this color is incredible. I can't get enough of this color. So this, guys, this is the 2025 ZX6R. This color is just incredible. You did a good choice on the exhaust too. It blends real well with the bike. That's what's up, dude. Yeah, this color is gorgeous. I'm a big 636 fan, so already this is on this thing is wicked, man. I love these color schemes and the new look of these bikes. So we got the Turbo GSXR1000 out. This is the 05 one. Now the plastics, again, the plastics in the tank are all being painted, so we have this tank that works. We put the fuel assembly all together with this tank just so we can kind of keep the project moving. Now, Sean has gone through a lot of the components on the bike and has found so many things that honestly, I'll be straight up. There's a lot of things that I missed and that a couple of us missed, and Sean captured it. One of which was the actual turbo wastegate. The piston was getting stuck about halfway open. So that creating boost issues. You know, there's a bunch of stuff. I could go over it, but I'm gonna keep it kind of short on this one. But he's found a ton of items that he was able to fix and catch before it even saw the dyno. Thank God, you know. So, but right now we're gonna fire it back up on this whole new system that we're kind of trying to introduce to the turbo world here, and provide it on our street kits, our street turbo kits, I should say. So, right now he's just kind of doing the last little bit, making sure everything looks good on it. And but yeah, we're gonna fire it up. Kind of do some checks here on the bike and just make sure everything looks good before we throw it on the dyno. Look at that, no smoke. No oil getting pissed out of it. I think it's a little dirty down there right now. Yeah, that's true. I think the fuel pressure's up a little bit. A little mad right now. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Yeah, you want to kind of do a little clean up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of get the idea. Yeah, everything looks good. Got a little fuel filter and inline. So we have a little fuel inline fuel filter now right here. This thing's gonna be fun. All right, guys, today is Saturday, and we thought it was on the schedule that there was going to be an event at Bradenton tonight at the drag strip, but one of the guys, they checked online and somehow, some way, they canceled the event tonight, the street heat event. So They have a run day Sunday that's going to happen on, obviously, tomorrow, Sunday. So right now we're still grabbing the bikes. There are some bikes that we weren't originally going to bring to run day Sunday. We were going to test them tonight, but given that the track's not going to be open tonight for the Street Heat event, now we got to bring almost all the bikes because we're going to test all, I shouldn't say all of them, but we are going to test as many of the bikes as we can. So Sean's here, Kenny's here, obviously I'm here now. We're all going to load up and get these things rolling. So I'll show you guys in just a second. I'm trying to stay out of their way while they're getting packed in there. So we're gonna do a little. We're bringing the H2 just honestly just have some fun, and we want Sean to take some licks on the H2 just to see what he thinks about it because he hasn't been on this one yet. So I don't think he's actually gotten the privilege to drive an H2 yet. So let alone one that has a little bit of work done to it. So we're gonna let him take a couple passes on it. I want to take a pass or two on it just to kind of see where I'm at with it. It's obviously a shorter wheelbase now. We're sitting right at 64 inches. We had set this up kind of as a roll race bike. So we're sitting pretty short at 64 inches and, made a little over 300 horsepower. So we're gonna see what it does. Sean also has this bike, Stage Fright. It's a Gen 2 Busa on spray. So it's got a little bit of engine work. It's nothing super crazy, but it's still going to be pretty peppy. So this thing should do some good times. He's reconfigured a few things on this bike. I know he's done a lot of rewiring on it. A lot of the wiring, there was some little issues when he got the bike with the wiring. So he went through, he's fixed a lot of the wiring, and I think he's going to do some all motor passes. Oh, he also has thrown a Gen 2 clutch in here. So there is a Gen 2 clutch that's inside the bike. I think for right now, he's gonna just kind of work on the motor passes and make sure that the motor's all dialed in, make sure all the bugs are worked out and kind of go from there. We have Hunter over here. He's actually gonna roll out with us tomorrow. So Hunter's got a Gen 2 Busa. He just got this bike. So he threw this, he's got a Voodoo Sidewinder on it. Obviously, you can see the hardcore swing arm. It's lowered and stretched. So, and he's got an air shifter. So, Sean actually got done wiring in the air shifter yesterday, along with he had a starting issue, and the guys were able to rectify all of this yesterday for Hunter. So, thankfully, and now it's my turn. I get to throw it on the dyno and just kind of get it all dialed in here for him. So, so the air fuel's not all out of whack, and we got a good timing map in there. And then we got some super stock bikes over here. So we're gonna take the ZX10. We got the GSXR1000. So we're gonna bring the shop ZX10. We are getting new plastics for it because in XDA, like we talked about earlier, technically the rules are you cannot have painted plastics. It has to be the OEM plastics and unpainted. So it has to come with the original paint scheme from the manufacturer. So we're gonna bring this. Now we did do some other things to it. We cut the forks a little bit more. We lowered the bike another 2 inches. So I'd already lowered it about 2.5 inches. We lowered it an additional 2 inches or so yesterday. We stretched it out a little bit more, and we threw a little bit more aggressive sprocket setup on it. So we're gonna run the bike like this and see what it does. So I'm really anxious for Sean to actually take this bike down and get some real licks on it. So I will say this. He's already ran a 918 on this bike, which is incredibly fast considering he had 0 experience on the bike. And also considering that he doesn't know what the mapping looked like, nothing. He just hopped on it, ran it, and he ran a 918. That was when it was taller, different gearing, and all the other things. This one here is Daryl's bike. We've already gone over this bike a few times. So he just kind of went through, did some maintenance items. And what else did Daryl do to this while he was here?
We found a rag in the gas tank.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it had some spontaneous, lean conditions. Like it would, on the data, it would just go off the chart lean. And after further inspection, as we started going through the pump, we found a nice detail rag inside the tank.
That's where they belong.
That's where they belong.
Well, yeah, glad that was found. And then last but not least, freaking Vixen, the powerhouse, the monster. Sean's gonna take some passes down on this thing too while we're out there. So This one's definitely a lot more serious than the other bikes. This one, as you guys know, it makes a ton of power, and this is a pretty serious bike right here. So we're gonna collaborate here and kind of get together and make sure we're all on the same page before he runs this bike. I see he's got some more stickers on the front in there. We're trying to support all the people who are helping us and supporting us along the way. So that new addition is Splice Racing. So Frank Splice, he does all of our wiring pretty much for our standalone ECU stuff. So our max ECUs, Splice does. He's a hell of a guy when it comes to wiring, man. He's very, very smart, knows his shit. So if you guys need any kind of wiring on standalones and stuff, Splice is definitely your man. I can promise you that. All right, guys, we are at Bradenton Motorsports Park. We are do some testing today. These are my kind of people right here. Are they running you next? All right. All right, so this is gonna be, all right guys, so this is gonna be Sean's first pass on this 10 since we modified it. Hopefully the battery's good. We didn't realize, but the battery was dead earlier, so put a quick charge on it. Hopefully it'll fire up and get a good pass. Yes, sir. All right, guys, so we are back in the shop after that run day Sunday at Bradenton. And we're going to close out the vlog here today at this time. But all in all, we kind of want to just talk about, kind of go over what all we went through at the track. And just kind of talk about, again, what we went through, what we experienced, you know, some of the passes, things like that. So I'm actually going to shoot Sean and let him go over with the ZX10, because that one's a little bit more of our focus, is the ZX10 with the super stock class. So but with that, yeah, here's Sean.
Yep. Well, I mean, we showed up. We was hoping we were going to make a bunch of passes, and
actually, yeah, we'll get the 10 in the back.
Just pan into here, what we've got going on. But we were hoping we were going to make a bunch of passes over there, and we showed up, and they had a record turnout for a run day Sunday. They had 250, 300 cars. So
dude, that was wild.
We really only got to make a couple passes, but we noticed that the bike was deteriorating quickly. So we, the first pass, it went like 156, and, you know, still not good, but, you know, just data. The next pass, it went 154, and then I think we left the day with it only going 150 miles an hour. So we rolled it onto the lift, and we did a compression test first thing this morning. We found that one of the cylinders was down on compression. So Lewis is fighting a good fight over there and going to go ahead and drop our motor out and get this thing out so we can go ahead and figure out what we've got going on.
Yeah, so that was a biggie. I mean, admittedly, the last couple of times I rode this bike, I will say, I was telling you, I was like, man, I'm noticing some hesitation, some hiccuping and stuff like that. It was kind of odd. Now, Sean made a great point, and I didn't know this, but on the Vortex fuel caps for, I guess they make a couple different sets. I don't really know. But Sean pointed out to me, he's like, dude, I already know your issue. And turns out that now this is not a Vortex cap, just letting you guys know. This is a different cap.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what cap it is.
There's no hole in that.
So there's no hole. So there's no breather. So what ends up happening is when it gets hot, the vacuum inside this gets to be too great, and it creates a lean effect on the bike.
It's suctioning.
Yeah, it's trying to suck it out.
But there's no vent.
There's no ventilation.
Seal the vent up.
Correct. Yeah. So I never knew that. I mean, looking at it, it's pretty obvious. But again, going through the motions of like just kind of putting bikes together and stuff. I mean, again, it's not something that you kind of pay attention. I didn't pay attention to. Let me reference that. But all in all, he's like, man, I bet you that's been your issue. So, and honestly, I've been driving the bike around like that for a little while now. So who knows?
Well, and you said multiple times that you go out and ride it for a little bit, and then after riding it for a little bit, once it got hot, it would start missing and hiccuping. That's by the point it's already drawing suction on the tank.
Yeah.
You know, so it physically just can't get the fuel out. And if you go running these bikes at 13.2 AFR and you've got them at 14,000 RPM and it starts sucking fuel, that's how you start burning them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably what happened. Probably what we're seeing right now.
But it's all good. Luckily, it was cylinder number 3. We did a compression test. Cylinder number 3, it was a little, it was struggling a little bit, but the good news is that I don't think the damage is really that bad. I think it's going to be something minor. I think it's going to be something super minor. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to pull the motor out. We're going to do some mods, We're going to do some repairs, I should say, on the motor. We're going to go ahead and clean up the cylinder walls. Most likely, we'll probably get a new set of rings. Now, Lewis is almost done, obviously, pulling this motor out. Let me go over here again. He is underway on pulling the motor out, so we're going to yank this bad boy out and kind of, again, assess the damage a little more up close and personal. We're going to go ahead and run the cylinder head down to Johnny's, just get the the valve seats all recut, I should say. Make sure that they're making a good seal with the valves closing and everything. Make sure that those are good, and then we're just going to look at the block and make sure that the pistons and all that jazz, all the rings, the cylinder walls, just make sure everything looks okay, and kind of just go from there, to be honest with you.
The rest of the bike felt really good, though. I think, the clutch setup in the bike was really nice. I think we hit the gearing pretty darn close right off the head. So I feel like the bike has the potential to do what we need to do. We just got to figure out our little horsepower issue now. So we're going to pull it out, freshen it up, make sure it's good to go. Hopefully we can be back at the track in the next week or two.
It's going to have a fresh engine.
Fresh.
Everything's going to be fresh. So that was the ZX10. So and we did have a couple other little things that we were working through on that while we were at the track. But that's the ZX10. Now the H2, that thing desperately needs a clutch. I will attest to that. I went to go get it up off the line, and that clutch grabbed super early. It needs to be bled out. It needs a new clutch. I think that clutch has been swapped out one time. It's got 5,000 miles on it. So that thing has been used and abused like you wouldn't believe. So we're gonna get a new clutch for that. So we're gonna get that all figured out, get the stack height all dialed in. We're gonna get that going, and then I also made a test hit on the Busa on stage fright. And it had a weird just little hiccup, a 1-2 hiccup. So could have been tire spin, it could have been the clutch lever. So the first thing that Sean was saying that he wanted to do is swap out those clutch levers and just go back to an OEM set.
Right? We didn't get it on film, but I rolled it in the shop this morning. I pulled the clutch out. I just wanted to check the stack height. A lot of times on those Gen 2 clutches, if you have too much air gap, then it just doesn't lock up when you want it to lock up. So that was the first thing I wanted to check. Everything looked good in the clutch. Like I said, we've got these really nice gold, actually, let's walk over.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's check it out.
We've got these really nice PBM levers, and what I think I'm running into is they're older levers. I think that they're just not flowing the fluid as fast as we need it to flow. So I'm going to go back to the stock levers, because with these Gen 2s, you have to literally drop it like this. And if there's a delay in this coming out, it will cause the clutch to slip. So it has to be a straight out motion. So hopefully I can, between this and the clutch, I think we'll get this thing figured out. We won't have any issues.
So Daryl was here down from Pennsylvania. It's our Pennsylvania bike. And he had a great time. He said he's moving to Florida, so be on the lookout for that. He said he loved it down here. He had a blast. So he came out testing. He did pretty good. He's doing good, so he's happy. They obviously a major issue figured out with the rag and tank. So he's got that figured out. And he said AFR looked clean. Everything else looked good. So he did really well. And then our boy Hunter came out for a little bit. He made a handful of passes. So Hunter's been MIA on the bike scene for a while, but he came out with his Gen 2 Busa. We literally tuned it Saturday late afternoon, almost Saturday evening. We threw a map in it real quickly, and he ran out, and I think he was mainly concentrating on the 8th mile, and I think he ran a 590 on a stock motor.
Yeah, he did.
You know, that's pretty damn good on that tire and everything.
That is good.
That was a shitty tire. I think he's on a Road 4, you know. So,
well, I mean, that bike on motor only goes 570s, 560s.
Yeah,
I mean,
so he did really good.
He's not far off.
No, I said it. I'm like, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
He's got a good hand
I've been
clutch.
like a 560 something on this bike on motor. You know, so he's like
He's right there.
He's right there.
Yeah, he's right where he needed to be. So he did really good. I mean, he's got a stock motor with a Voodoo exhaust.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all Hunter really has, and a Sprint filter. So that was the other thing I wanted to mention too. Yeah, I have to foot shift this thing. It is that. So it had an air shifter out, and the original owner on the bike, when we gave it back to him, he took the air. He was having some electrical. He likes to tinker with his bikes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put it all back in. So the right way. And we're going to take the clutch out, redo the clutch, make sure all that's running correctly. And we're going to get him a chain guard again, fix all that, and get this bike back out there and actually see what it can do. So,
yeah, we're going to start bringing you guys some footage on this thing, man. We're going to get this thing to the track and try to get it in the 7s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. This thing would be killer. And we have a little bit of length to go on it.
Yeah, no, we can put that thing at the back of the arm and try to go some 7s on this thing. That'll be cool content for the page.
Yeah, so right now it's sitting at 64, so it's pretty short, you know, all in all, for a hand clutch and all that.
Back there and freaking let that thing eat.
Yeah, oh, yeah. She'll scoot. She's obviously, she's touchy. So, but yeah, that's about it, guys. I think we'll wrap it up here. We're gonna call it. We got a bunch of work to get back to and all that jazz. Got to get on the dyno, and I just saw Kenny show up with a bunch of stuff. So I'm sure there's things we got to get knocked out over there.
Lots to do.
All right, guys. But anyway, as always, we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Leave us some love. Tell us what you think about the video. Tell us what you think about the vlog. Tell us what you want to see in the future, because we're going to XDA very, very soon. That's coming up at the end of April. So we will be out there. So that's kind of why we're doing all the testing right now, is we're trying to get the bikes ready to go. So that's the reason why we're doing this. But anyway, leave us some feedback, leave us some love. And on that note, see you on another episode.